was a two-part bit. It was directed by Frank Lucas, the movie that started it all. It was two bad jokes in one.
I even had a really funny joke that day. I wrote it in my diary later that night.
Yeah, and I said, I'm going to say this.
Oh, man. You're still recording, right?
I am. Maybe
Okay.
this is the show.
Yeah, I think
don't know.
this should be the show, you know?
All right, so Ant-Man and Wasp, you want to get into that now? Or do you want to talk a little bit about us being... I'm an Ant-Man lover.
Yeah, I love the first one. I want to say I did like a top 5 MCU films at one point, and I want to say this is in my top 5. But that was like 2 years ago, maybe. But anyway, yeah, I love Ant-Man. I love Paul Rudd. It's hard not to love that guy.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this is... It's almost like a Will Ferrell movie kind of a thing. Both of these movies are... If you're into that... Well, first of all, if you don't like Paul Rudd, there is something seriously wrong with you as a human being.
Exactly.
But if you happen to be a disturbed individual and you don't like Paul Rudd, then I can see you not really being into Ant-Man. But I thought, yeah, the first one, he was amazing. It was really a breath of fresh air, I thought. A nice change up from the ultra serious, ultra dire, most of the Marvel, Avengers stuff where it's like world-ending chaos. This was really nice. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I just was watching, actually, right before we were doing the show, I was watching Civil War it was like on FX or something. And man, that thing is like dark and serious, especially after seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp now. It's just like, man, yeah, Ant-Man's such a breath of fresh air. And I like how it's like no pun intended, a smaller story too. It's not like, again, like you said, it's not about the end of the world or anything. It's so lighthearted. It's just a fun movie and doesn't take itself too serious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even. We've talked about this a lot, but I've never read comic books or anything like that. But I think this movie serves that sort of role as that little like pocket of a story that's its own little thing, and sometimes they'll interact with the others, but. Yeah, I think this almost reminds me of like you like this one character and you want to read about what this one character does, not necessarily how it relates to the larger world or anything else. Yeah. I mean, it does in its own way, but it tells his own story.
Yeah, definitely. And I like that it's almost good in a way that he wasn't in Infinity War, especially with this movie coming out. Like it definitely, helped in that regard to keep him separate and have his own little story again. And obviously this one it's Ant-Man and the Wasp, so he's teaming up with Hope Van Dyne again. Hope Van Dyne, I believe I've got that name right. Evangeline Lilly, obviously.
Yeah, Freckles.
Freckles. Teaming up with her in this movie. Do you want to?
She's really good.
Yeah, definitely.
I really
guess,
like their chemistry.
Oh, yeah. I think they did great chemistry in the first one, this one as well. I think she's great. I almost, looking back in this movie, I feel like maybe she was underused a little. Like it still felt like an Ant-Man movie. It didn't totally feel like it was both of their movies. Like it still felt like his movie. So I guess that's maybe one critique I have on it.
Yes, I mean, she did a little bit more, though, I thought. And he kind of walks into a story, I think, not to give too much away.
Yeah, that's true.
He walks into an existing thing, which he's a really cool character because he's always getting in trouble, but he's such a nice guy.
I know. Yeah,
he just ends up in these situations.
Yeah, it's crazy that this nice guy is just there on house arrest. And, in the first one, obviously, he's, just got out of prison. And he does different heists and things. He's a burglar. It's just,
and then he helps out Captain America, which was a good thing to do. It's funny too, because I was thinking, the Civil War, it took me a minute to figure out, wait, when did that happen? Because all those movies, for me at least, they tend to run together.
Right. Yeah.
I just watched Civil War, Black Panther, and Infinity War all within like a week of each other, just to refresh myself to get ready for Infinity War. So I'm like, wait, was that Infinity War where he did that, or was that? I'm like,
I know it's hard to. Yeah, it's definitely hard to keep him track, especially when you all watch them all at once like that. It's just. It's impossible to not like Paul Rudd. He's just so likable, and
he's great.
It just makes the movie that much more charming. I might as well get more into the movies. I mean, what are some of the positives about this movie? Let's start with that.
I really like the cast of this film. I thought almost every actor from top to bottom, with the exception of maybe Judy Greer, who I think I've had my fill of Judy Greer my whole life.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, we got Michael Pena returning. Walton Goggins was a nice addition. I don't know if you're familiar with him from The Shield, or he's also in Vice Principals with.
He definitely plays like a little. He's like definitely a character actor. He plays those little roles like that. He was in I think Django. He was in Django Unchained, but he was also in Hateful Eight.
Django
Played a pretty big role in Hateful Eight too. I like him a lot. He's a really good character actor. He definitely adds a nice little element to every role he's in.
I got some good laughs from T.I. The guy who played the Russian. He's still making me laugh. Randall Park is hilarious as like Kim Jong Un as an FBI agent.
Right? Yeah. I like Randall Park a lot too. Yeah, he's just he plays like a charming idiot in this movie, and it's fun to watch. Yeah, I mean
he's great.
I had really no complaints with the cast. I mean, Judy Greer's whatever.
Fishburne.
I mean, Fishburne. Yeah, I like Fishburne a lot. Do you have IMDb up right now? What's the actress who played the ghost? I've never seen her
Hannah John
before.
Kamen.
Yeah, what'd you think of her?
I thought she was okay. I didn't really care for the character all that much.
Yeah, that's another negative I would have about it is I just didn't care about the character, didn't care about her motivations, anything like that. It just was kind of there to be there, like, oh, there's some sort of foe to get in the way of what they're trying to do. Yeah,
although I guess I don't know how we are on spoilers at this point. Unless we want to talk about that a little bit, or at least give a wrap up before we get into any kind of spoilers, or keep it spoiler free. What are your thoughts?
Let's do spoiler free a little bit. We'll get into spoilers in a couple minutes.
So I thought the performance was okay, but I did like the construction of the movie in that there isn't. I don't think this is giving too much away. There isn't one distinct villain in the film, which I think is to the credit.
Yeah, that's not giving too much away.
No. And she plays a character named Ghost, which I don't want to get into those details, but it's not just her. It's not like just Ant-Man and the Wasp versus her. She's got her own sort of story going on, and they happen to kind of intersect, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they just kind of, are a hindrance to what Ant-Man and the Wasp are actually trying to, their actual mission, they're on what they're trying to do. They just keep getting in the way of that. More like roadblocks, not necessarily foes.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I think to sum up this movie, I'd have to say I'd call it a very fun, but also sort of a forgettable movie. There's not much in the way of depth or story in this. There's good action. It's not too long, at 2 hours, although I think they could have even trimmed another 10 or 15 minutes. But that's to my taste. But I saw it, I think, 2 days ago, and I don't have a lot of memory of this movie right now.
Yeah, I think it definitely had great moments. I pretty much put it on par with the first one, maybe a little less, just pure joy and entertainment wise. I mean, it's just I'll definitely be flipping this on. This will definitely be in my rotation of just movies to just flip on, I think.
I think so too. It's rewatchable, but very popcorn heavy. You don't expect any kind of depth here at all.
Which, for this universe to have such a heavy film like Infinity War, and then just this to be the follow up after that, it's kind of a relief to have that lightheartedness. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this movie, and it's
a nice little reset, right? Which brings us back to the fun.
Yeah, exactly. I hate doing non-spoiler reviews. It's so hard to, say anything. But
so what would you recommend this movie?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you liked the first one,
I would too.
If you liked the first one, I think you're 100% going to like this one too. I mean, maybe not as much as the first one, but yeah, I mean, it's Paul Rudd. It's Paul Rudd being Ant-Man. It's
there's a lot of good comedy in this movie, and great chemistry between him and Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah, and I like it got a little sciencey at points where it was kind of hard to understand, but Scott Lang, Paul Rudd's character, obviously, he kind of felt what the audience felt. He's like, yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about, and I kind of like those little touches like that, and yeah, enjoyable film. It's a very profound review.
No, but it's true. It is. It's really enjoyable. There's not a lot of deep stuff here, but as a comparison to say the Jurassic World, I'd say go see this one instead if you're debating.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean this is, I got a lot more joy out of this, and this is, again, it's not a movie that takes itself seriously. It actually has comedy, like and on purpose, whereas Jurassic World had comedy that wasn't always on purpose sometimes. There are a lot of, the more I'm thinking about the movie, I mean, there's a lot of more, probably because it's fresh in my mind, but there's a lot of more moments that stick out in my mind than the first Ant-Man does. Obviously, we're recommending this film to go see it. I know earlier you had something spoiler-y that you wanted to say. So let's get into spoilers maybe a little bit here, and then wrap this thing up and give a rating. So if you haven't seen the film, go ahead and fast forward a little bit and hear our final rating. What spoiler talk did you want to mention?
Well, yeah, I wanted to get into the idea of there's like at least two villains in this. You've got Ghost, and then you have the Walton Goggins character, I guess Sonny Birch.
Yeah.
And then I was also wondering, like, what about Hank Pym?
Yeah.
Is he almost like a villain accidentally, or the guy's kind of a dick? I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's kind of what that Ghost character. I mean, that's what kind of the picture they painted him as was. He's not the greatest guy.
He's really like he has this. I don't know exactly how it goes back to in the comics or what the canon is, but he works closely with Papa Stark, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, even I don't know about comics, in that regard, but in the first Ant-Man, like the first scene is him like punching Tony Stark in the face.
Yeah.
Or Tony Stark's dad in the face.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, they worked closely.
Yeah, so it's like he has the science of his own creation that ends up creating like these like it just creates chaos and like destruction around him in a sense. It feels like a lot of the problems are because he kind of like did a crazy scientific thing that then creates this problem, like trapping his wife in the microscopic world, or things like that, and having people come after him for his technology. And he's really not a nice guy, so I wonder if he's almost like, I don't really want to call him a villain in a sense, but yeah, I mean, we wouldn't be doing all this stuff and jumping through these hoops if he wasn't who he was and what he did,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's a criminal in a sense. I mean, he's running from the law, but I mean, to his credit, I mean, the whole with his wife's situation, he was gonna go to the quantum realm. He was going to do that and it malfunctioned, so she decided to do it instead. But yeah, I mean, I like Michael Douglas. I think he's, good for the role. And then obviously we have Michelle Pfeiffer playing his wife in this. What'd you think of that how they handled all this?
I thought that was pretty neat, really creative. And yeah, I guess, going back to the very opening of this, where they're, which we learned in the first Ant-Man, that him and his wife are trying to disarm this nuclear weapon, and she has to shrink so far, and she ends up going into that quantum world to disable the bomb. But yeah, no, I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer, I don't know. I mean, I think her time is kind of past. I hate to say it that way, but
yeah,
I didn't get much of a riveting performance from her. Not that I need it, but whereas where I thought the cast in general was very strong, I think her and maybe Judy Greer were the ones.
Yeah, I mean her.
Kind of left it.
I wasn't too. I mean, it wasn't anything.
It's just kind of there, right?
Yeah, it was there. Like, I wouldn't say it was bad or anything. It was cool seeing her again. I feel like I haven't seen her in anything in forever. But I loved when Paul Rudd was her. Like, she was in Paul Rudd's body. That part was great. Like, that was even good acting by Paul Rudd to just like kind of just totally change like his mannerisms and everything. Like, you just knew something was up as soon as he became her. So that was cool. That's where things got confusing. I was like, because he went to the quantum realm, so that means he has access to it in his mind. Like, I didn't know how any of that worked. I guess you don't really need to know. I mean,
no, I mean that's not really. It's just for good fun.
Yeah,
somehow, it got into the mind. Yeah,
yeah.
But I did like. Go ahead. Do you have something else?
No, it's just I don't want you to lose your thought because I'm kind of going off the rails here. But I like how they had the classic, sequel where the original technology isn't working right, so he's not able to always shrink all the time. And I loved when he was in the classroom and looking like a little kid running around in that huge oversized sweatshirt. So yeah, that's one of the great moments I'm talking about. And then when he's huge at the San Francisco Bay, just a couple cool moments because of that whole suit malfunction. Memorable moments.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was basically where I was kind of headed to, which is this gimmick that we talked about a while ago of the shrinking and expanding.
Yeah.
It's such a great thing to use in film because it's endless, right? You can do that like they did with the cars, shrinking.
Yeah.
And although why they had to necessarily stay on the road and all that. But,
Yeah, exactly. It's like
just escape, right?
right. Yeah. Why are you still in the same lane?
I know, right? Like, well, just following behind you just because you're smaller. Apparently, they're not. Yeah, you're not disappearing, I guess, or something. But it's so much fun, right? I mean, they do it with the lab. It becomes like the MacGuffin of the movie, right?
Right.
The shrinking lab into a piece of luggage that motivates all the characters. Like, they go after this thing, and then it gets really big, and then it gets really small, and they're always chasing this thing. That's what moves the story.
Right.
But it's great. It never really gets old.
Yeah, it makes the possibilities endless with this movie. Like, it's just like, this building doesn't fit here anymore. Let's take it somewhere else. Yeah,
We'll shrink it, put it in the van, and then, I love they have like the Matchbox thing of all these cars. They're in the little box.
Right.
You just pick the one you want, throw it on the asphalt. Expand it, get in, and drive.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, and that created an awesome moment with Michael Pena when he opens up the cars. And I love Michael Pena, man. He's just great. And he's the highlight of one of the highlights of both these movies. Is him.
Speaking of Walton Goggins being in The Shield, Michael Pena was also in The Shield. So I know I like to talk
Michael
about that.
Pena has done a lot of dramatic roles too. But and I love the whole truth serum part. That was great. It's truth serum.
I love, the actor Davian Ladwa who was administering it. He's like, it's not truth serum. It's whatever he names the chemicals. And then eventually, then at the end, they're like, they're just saying everything. That was great.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I love the imagery of when they're actually in the quantum realm, like when Michael Douglas gets there. Like, it's so cool looking.
Yeah, and they showed those. I don't know what they're called off the top of my head, but those little like floating like bear thingies that were going to eat Paul Rudd.
Yeah,
remember that?
Like
those are real
parasites or whatever.
Yeah, that's actually like a real thing. That's a real microscopic organism that they discovered like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I forget the name of it, but I thought that was a nice touch, actually, putting a little bit of real science into the movie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was cool, and it looked cool too. So,
but the ghost villain, didn't do much for me there. I didn't mind the acting; it just the character wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was just something there, like, to give her, a cool little, I guess, power. I don't even know if you would call it a power, but
no.
Yeah, she can go through walls, things like that. But it didn't do much for me either.
I didn't take her that seriously, and I guess that's kind of the thing of the movie, right? Not to take it very seriously. I mean, they played gag after gag, like the Randall Park character, the FBI agent chasing. It's basically because Paul Rudd's supposed to be under house arrest, and he's getting out of jail in 3 days. And they keep visiting his house because the monitor keeps going off. I mean, they did that like 3 times. 4 times.
I know. And never got caught miraculously.
It's just popcorn. That's all. It's just fun.
Yeah,
it's just all it is.
Like, I never rolled my eyes or anything. It was never.
Good fun.
The movie did end abruptly. Like, when it ended, I was like, oh, they're ending it there. That's one thing I was just kind of thrown off by, but now that thinking back on it, it makes sense how it ended. It's just, they get done with what they needed to get done, and then he gets back, and they let him go on house arrest, and then it's like, oh, it's over. That's how we're ending it.
And then it ended, and I stood up with my wife and walked out of the theater. Now, most people were sitting down still, waiting for post-credit scenes, but I don't do post credits, so
you walked away all pretentiously, looking back like
I gave everybody the finger as I rounded the corner.
I don't stay for after credit scenes, suckers.
Yeah, I'm right there with director James Mangold, who says it's ridiculous and pretentious, and it's if you're gonna make a movie, put it in the movie, and that's it. I don't need to. I've heard the argument that I can't believe I'm going on about this, but it's good to sit there and watch all the people that contributed to the movie. But is that true? You know, I mean, when I drink a can of Coca-Cola, I don't need to know the list of all the people that contributed to that can of Coca-Cola. I mean, I drink it and I'm done, right? I mean, I've
good
consumed
analogy.
the movie,
Yes,
and
good
now
analogy.
I'm leaving.
Yep. But for this particular after credit scene, I do feel like you did yourself a disservice by not at least staying for the first one, because the first ones
Now there are always two.
usually there's one like right after like the cartoon credits, and then one at the very end of the credits. Which the one at the very end of the credits is hardly ever important. It's just a little tiny scene. Whereas this one,
so what do we get in this one?
Very good. So yeah, I mean they're going. It's they're one big happy family. They're going to send Scott real quick to the quantum realm to get a sample of something to then, I don't even know what, it's just a sample of something from the quantum realm. So it's the three of them standing out there. They send him there. He gets what he needs to get. And then he's like, all right, guys, I'm ready. Bring me back. And they said, okay, we're bringing you back in 3, 2. And he's like, haha, very funny, guys. Very funny. And then still silence. We get nothing. He's like, guys, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, why aren't you bringing me back? Come on. So he's stuck in the quantum realm, and then they flash back to where they were with the lab, and you just see ashes, similar to what at the end of Infinity War, when everyone was disappearing, turning into ash. So we have...
So they're the ones that died along with?
Yep. They died at the snap. The Wasp, Hank Pym, and Hank Pym's wife are victims of Thanos's destruction of half the universe.
The Thanos is a real asshole.
Yeah, come on. It's just he truly is a grimace. But yeah, I thought it was a cool way to tie in Infinity War. Like, it's like, okay, all these events happened, right before Infinity War. So here's the state of the, where these characters are at, after this first Infinity War movie. And now we got Scott Lang / Ant-Man stuck in the quantum realm. So it's like, how are they going to incorporate that now in the second Infinity War? And so, yeah.
Yeah. So is that your guess? What's next for Ant-Man then? Do you think you'll see him in Avengers 4?
I think so. I saw some theories it might have something to do with Captain Marvel, which, yeah, I don't know. Don't know how that's going to be incorporated. I don't know much about Captain Marvel or anything, but
she's going to fly around and save everybody, or
something like that. I don't know.
I saw that just wrapped, I guess, right?
Just wrapped filming. And did you see, totally unrelated, but I just saw the news that Joaquin Phoenix is going to be starring in a Joker origin movie.
Yeah, I came across that, I think, yesterday. That sounds really interesting.
I know. I'm very intrigued by that. Like, I've loved Joaquin Phoenix lately, and just anything he comes out, he's love his acting style and everything like that.
Yeah, I like him too. So that'll be a Fox thing?
No, it's Warner Brothers, DC.
Oh, Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know, because I mean Jared Leto was the Joker, so I don't know if they're like totally just revamping that series. No one really knows.
Jared Leto. Oh, in the what was that movie?
He was in Suicide Squad.
That's right, Suicide.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, well, you didn't miss much. But yeah, I think that was cool. But anyways, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Let's give our rating. What do you rate this sequel to Ant-Man?
I'm gonna give it 2 stars and 3.5 buckets of popcorn. I don't think this is kind of you can watch it once and be done with it. If you like it enough, if you love the actors and the characters enough, I could see this one being something you throw on. But there's not a lot of quality here, but it's highly entertaining. So good summer popcorn movie for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty much right there with you. I'm a little higher on the quality. I do 2.5 stars, 3.5 buckets of popcorn. Yeah, it's... Again, I feel like it felt like an Ant-Man sequel. It felt like an Ant-Man movie, and for them to call it "And the Wasp," I just feel like they should have put her at the forefront a little bit more. But maybe on a second watch, I might think differently. I just can't remember her really being like front and center like him, But yeah,
that's kind of what I was thinking. It's a little bit forgettable. It's really entertaining, but you go back and you think, well, what did they do for 2 hours? I'm not really quite sure. They had a lot of fun action, and it was great. And even there's that, I think they showed this in the trailer about that little action scene in the kitchen with the knife and all that stuff. That was really good. That extended bit was a lot of fun.
Definitely, yeah. A lot of like I said, fun moments in this movie.
Absolutely.
So yeah, there we go. Another blockbuster
That is our review of
film.
Ant-Man.
Yep, our review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Another blockbuster film, summer film done. Our next one, I don't know, maybe we'll do Skyscraper. I know we definitely want to do Mission Impossible Fallout. Definitely looking forward to that one. So
For sure. Yeah, I love Mission Impossible series, and I love Tom Cruise.
Me too, man. Me too. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see that. So
Tom Cruise has made like 50 movies, and I think like 3 of them were bad, maybe.
yeah, seriously, and yeah, all of them have made money. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for us, folks. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at BlockbusterCast. I am at BCCord.
I'm at Dave_Quist.
And give us reviews on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. Rate us, subscribe to us. We'd appreciate it.
We would absolutely love it.
Any final thoughts, my friend?
My final thought is I love Paul Rudd, and I watch pretty much anything he's in, including Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I found highly enjoyable. I recommend it to everybody.
Find it in a theater near you.
Absolutely, man.
All right, folks. Well, that is it for us. For Dave, I'm Ben. And as always, grab some popcorn, grab some snacks. We'll catch you guys
At the movies.